You know something funny? When we was talking in like the 12th round, I think the 12th or 11th, we was talking right, but he like, you ain't gonna win. I said, why not? What you talking about? He like, they ain't gonna give it to you.
Tank's majority draw against Lamont Roach Jr. is stirring up more controversy by the day, turning into one of the biggest scandals in boxing this year. What seemed like a clear-cut fight outcome has now sparked heated debates over corruption, favoritism, and whether Tank Davis benefited from outside influence.
Whilst punches are being thrown, it has to be a knockdown. I've heard some people saying, "Oh, that he should be disqualified. He went back to the corner." I don't buy that, to be honest with you. I mean, I think that's a warning, but it's a bit of a bizarre situation.
Fans are still shocked by what went down in the 9th round. Referee Steve Willis didn't call it a knockdown, hesitated for a moment as if about to start a count, then stopped himself, leaving everyone confused. That single moment changed the entire fight's momentum. Now, rumors are swirling that Willis may have been pressured or even bribed to make sure Davis held onto his belt.
You take the knee, man, if you take the knee in the 90s or in 2000, you're taking the point off. That's the bottom line. You're taking the point off. I don't know what happened.
The fight was already full of surprises. Roach, a major underdog, stepped into the ring with nothing to lose and everything to prove against the power and aggression of Gervonta Davis. Few expected him to go the full 12 rounds, let alone push the champ to his limits. But that's exactly what happened. From the opening bell, Roach made it clear he wasn't just another name for Tank's highlight reel. He fought with precision, discipline, and confidence, slipping Davis's heavy shots and landing sharp, accurate counters. As the rounds progressed, it became obvious that this wouldn't be an easy night for Davis. For the first time in a long time, he looked frustrated. His usual rhythm was off, and Roach wasn't giving him the openings he needed. Then came the 9th round, the moment that changed everything.
I mean, the only reason they gave you the fight was because you would make more money as a champion, but there's no way it's a draw, and they didn't call it a knockdown. If they called a knockdown, you lost.
Roach landed a clean shot that sent Davis staggering, forcing him to take a knee. The crowd immediately reacted, expecting the referee to count it as a knockdown. But then, something unexpected happened. Steve Willis, known for his animated officiating, hesitated. For a brief moment, he seemed ready to start a count, but then stopped. Instead of ruling it a knockdown, he dismissed it entirely as if nothing had happened. The commentators were shocked. Fans in the arena erupted in confusion. Social media exploded with outrage, with people demanding answers. How could this not be a knockdown? The replay showed it clearly. Davis went down after taking a clean hit. Yet somehow, Willis ignored it, and when the scorecards were revealed, Davis walked away with a majority draw instead of what many believe should have been a loss.
Being in big names, so they overblow it?
I think so, yeah, and I feel like people just don't like Tank to a point where any little thing, just because he ain't knock him out, he probably feel as though that he lost and he didn't, or it was a draw,
Now, more details are beginning to surface. Allegations have emerged that Willis was offered a $2 million bribe to protect Davis. At first, it seemed like nothing more than frustrated fans pushing conspiracy theories. But then, boxing insiders started whispering the same thing. Some claimed that people close to Davis's camp were in contact with the referee before the fight. That would explain why Tank was so confident, even telling Roach that no matter what he did, he wouldn't be given the win. Others believe Willis's hesitation in the 9th round wasn't just a simple mistake. It looked like he was second-guessing himself because he knew he couldn't afford to make the wrong call. If these allegations are true, this could go down as one of the most blatant cases of corruption boxing has seen in years.
Honestly, I thought I should have won without that being counted a knockdown. Look, I ain't the ref. I ain't really, you know what I'm saying? Like, if he had to wipe sweat out his eye, he had to wipe sweat out his eye. But the rules do state, if you voluntarily take a knee, then that's an automatic 8 count. But it is what it is. I wasn't relying on that.
Things became even more suspicious when the World Boxing Association quickly jumped to defend Willis's decision. Instead of calming the situation, the WBA added fuel to the fire by publishing an article on their official website, insisting that Willis made the right call. Their statement read, "From our perspective, Willis's decision was not unreasonable or unjustifiable. No knockdown should have been recorded." That one sentence sparked outrage. To many, It felt like the WBA was trying to shut down the controversy before it spiraled out of control. But the backlash was immediate. Fans weren't buying it. Boxing analysts called the explanation absurd, and former fighters openly criticized the WBA for protecting Davis. Within hours, social media was tearing the article apart, and the pressure on the WBA only kept growing.
It was a close fight. I'm not surprised the way Lamont fought. I knew Lamont was going to come to fight. It was the opportunity of a lifetime. He did a good job. He fought a great fight.
What went wrong with Tank Davis? I mean, I was
what was wrong with him?
Out.
Every night in boxing is not your best.
The backlash became so intense that WBA President Gilberto Mendoza had no choice but to remove the article and issue a public apology. However, instead of settling the controversy, his apology only sparked more questions. Mendoza posted a direct message to Lamont Roach Jr. on X, saying, "Champ, as president of the WBA, I must apologize for the opinion of a collaborator of the website. We believed in you since day one. We knew you would have a marvelous performance and feel proud of you as champion." That statement immediately raised suspicion. If this was just the opinion of one writer, why was it published on the WBA's official website? And why was the WBA so quick to defend Willis in the first place? Mendoza also reached out to Roach's father, who serves as both his manager and trainer, with a similar message, but by then, the damage had already been done. To many, this looked like a failed cover-up. The WBA appeared to be protecting Davis, and once they saw the backlash spiraling out of control, they scrambled to distance themselves from it. At this point, all eyes were on Gervonta Davis himself. With accusations of bribery swirling, people were eager to hear his side of the story. But when Tank finally responded, he didn't directly deny or confirm anything. Instead, he fired back at his critics, saying, "I don't know anything about that. But look, they've been hating on me since day one. Y'all acting like I ain't never had to fight for my respect. They just mad cause I ain't lose my belt." Davis also insisted he had no issue with a rematch, stating, "If they want a rematch, we can run it back. I ain't ducking nobody." But if that were true, why hasn't a rematch been announced yet? Some believe Davis's team is stalling because they know Roach is a real threat.
I'm not sure, bro. I'm definitely not sure. But hopefully we could get it before... Nah, it probably won't be this year.
Meanwhile, the New York State Athletic Commission is now being dragged into the controversy. The NYSAC was supposed to use instant replay on the night of the fight, but for some reason, it never happened. Their official explanation? Technical issues. That excuse has only fueled more suspicion. What kind of technical issue conveniently occurs at the exact moment when instant replay could have changed the outcome of a major title fight? Some fans are now demanding a full investigation, and there are even rumors that Roach's team is considering legal action to challenge the fight result. If that happens, this situation could get even uglier.
How do you assess his power after being in there for 12?
He got decent power. He got decent power for sure. I ain't gonna say it's exaggerated. I told you I got a chin. I ain't going like that.
With controversy growing by the day, the pressure for a rematch is mounting. Even WBA President Gilberto Mendoza admitted that the organization is now considering pushing for a second fight. He stated, "I have asked the WBA committee to follow up on Lamont Roach Jr.'s direct rematch case closely. However, we believe the parties, as expressed in the post-fight interview, will amicably agree to run it again." But many fans aren't convinced. The WBA has already shown where its loyalty lies, and some believe they'll do whatever it takes to protect Davis. Even if a rematch is scheduled, what's stopping the same shady politics from influencing the outcome again?
That people want to discredit Tank, he's still a pound-for-pound fighter.
Yeah. What do you think about that fight that happened? You thought it was just an off night, or?
Everybody has an off night. Everybody has an off night. Shit, I had a night with Cruz.
While this controversy continues to dominate conversations among boxing analysts and fans, Canelo Alvarez has also weighed in. The Mexican superstar is set to return to the ring in May against William Skull, but that hasn't stopped him from addressing what many are calling the biggest scandal in boxing right now. Known for speaking his mind, Canelo didn't hold back when discussing the 9th round incident where Davis took a knee after a clean shot from Roach. During an interview on Hot 97's Ebro in the morning, he made it clear that, by the rules, Roach should have won that round decisively. He also pointed out another major issue, Davis's corner stepping into the ring mid-round, which should have led to an automatic disqualification. He took a knee. He should have lost that round 10-8 at least. And on top of that, his corner stepped in and put a towel in his face. That's a clear disqualification, Canelo stated. I'm just talking about the rules, but you know, it's not my business.
And in the end, lost that fight to Roach, in your opinion?
Yeah, in my opinion, it was a draw. He take a knee. And plus the corner go up and put a towel in the face. That's a disqualification, for sure. I'm talking about the rules, but it's not my view.
While Canelo kept his comments brief, his words carried serious weight. This wasn't just any fighter speaking. This was the undisputed super middleweight champion, a global boxing icon, calling out how the rules were ignored in favor of Davis. As backlash continues to grow, it's becoming harder to ignore just how deep this controversy runs. The New York State Athletic Commission is still investigating the situation, and the findings could have major consequences for the lightweight division. Veteran boxing writer Dan Rafael didn't hold back when discussing the controversy on ProBox TV, stating, "If they do one thing, Lamont Roach wins the fight." He went on to emphasize how the night played out unfairly for Roach, saying, "That bad night by Willis cost Lamont Roach a championship. It deprived him of hanging the first loss on America's top fighter. A lot of stuff went bad, and it was all against Lamont Roach."
If that was kind of a knockdown, I would win the majority decision. Honestly, I thought I should have won without that, but the rules do state if you voluntarily take a knee, then that's an automatic A game.
Regulators across the country are now keeping a close eye on the situation as NOISAC chairman Matthew Dalio faces mounting pressure to make a decision. The problem is, the ruling isn't simple. If Dalio decides to overturn the result, Davis could lose his WBA lightweight belt and take his first official loss. But some argue that it wouldn't be fair to change the outcome without giving Davis a chance to respond in the ring. One of the biggest concerns is that referee Steve Willis not only failed to call a knockdown, but also allowed Davis's corner to interfere mid-round. If the fight had been officiated fairly, Roach would have had a massive advantage heading into the final rounds. Instead, Davis was given time to recover, wipe his face, and re-enter the fight as if nothing had happened. The question now is whether this was just human error or something much bigger.
I'm still rooting with him. I saw the negativity and people, critics talking, but I think he's one hell of a fighter, and I think he's still the top dog.
Former referee Jack Rice made a key point on ProBox TV, stating that while referees have discretion, fighters cannot take their own timeouts. "You cannot call your own timeout," he said firmly. Former world champion Paulie Malignaggi quickly pointed out the double standard at play. The controversy grew when it was revealed that an instant replay review was available but never used. That means the commission had a chance to correct the mistake in real time, but chose not to. This has only fueled suspicions that Davis was given unfair treatment. That's why ProBox TV founder Gary Jonas, who advises Roach, has officially appealed the result, arguing that Roach should be declared the winner. Trainer Stephen "Breadman" Edwards summed up the frustration, saying, "People make mistakes, but somehow, it always benefits the A side." That's the real issue. If Roach had taken a knee, walked to his corner mid-round, and gotten an unofficial timeout, would the referee have ignored it? Most fans believe the answer is no.
Gotta chill out with all of this Loma's beating Tank, and like, you feel this is crazy, man. Tank is knocking out Loma, man. Get out of here with that shit.
Couldn't knock out Roach, man. Yo, couldn't knock out Roach.
I think Roach knocks out Loma.
The solution many in the boxing world are pushing for is an immediate rematch at Barclays Center in Brooklyn, the same place where the controversy unfolded. But for some, a rematch isn't enough. There are growing demands for disciplinary action against Steve Willis, for the New York Commission to overturn the result, and even for Davis to be stripped of his title. One of Davis's biggest rivals, Ryan Garcia, has also weighed in. Garcia, who lost to Davis last April by knockout, has been vocal about the fight's outcome. Surprisingly, this time, he's siding with Roach. If that changes the whole fight, if that gives Roach the victory, give him the victory, Garcia said. That's how you keep the integrity of the sport, right? That's why they suspended me, right? To keep the integrity of the sport.
That was a knockdown, without a doubt. You can't spin it no other way. It's too clear. And I think the commission needs to do something about it because it can give me an incentive, anytime I'm not feeling good in a fight, take a knee.
Well, they said it.
And that's not a shot at Tank. I respect him.
Garcia's comment is a direct jab at the double standards in boxing. He was suspended after testing positive for a banned substance following his fight with Devin Haney, a ruling that many believed was too harsh. Now he's calling out the hypocrisy. If the sport claims to be about fairness, why isn't it applying the same strict rules to Davis? The controversy surrounding Davis versus Roach is no longer just about one fight. It's about the integrity of boxing itself. If a referee can blatantly ignore a knockdown, allow a corner to intervene mid-round, and still let the favored fighter walk away with his belt, what does that say about the sport?
Did Gervonta Tank Davis have an off night? Probably. Did he have grease in his eye? Probably. Put the grease on. And did Lamont Roach win the fight? Yes. Let's look at
The New York Commission is expected to make a ruling soon, and the outcome could have massive consequences. If they stand by the original decision, boxing fans may lose even more faith in the system. If they overturn it, Davis's reputation will take a hit, and the lightweight division could be thrown into chaos. One thing is certain, this situation isn't going away anytime soon. With fighters like Canelo Alvarez, Ryan Garcia, and even Teofimo Lopez speaking out, the pressure is only increasing. And with the lightweight division already full of tension between Davis, Shakur Stevenson, and Vasily Lomachenko, this controversy could be the spark that leads to a major shakeup in the sport.
You lost that unanimously.
I went Mace. I think he lost the fight. That referee has a lot of experience. For you not to call that knee a knockdown is crazy.
Meanwhile, as the controversy continues to unfold, another heated debate is raging in the boxing world. Who would win if Davis and Shakur Stevenson finally stepped into the ring? With both fighters holding a piece of the lightweight world title, this is the fight everyone wants to see. And the latest performances from both men have only added more fuel to the fire. Davis, despite holding on to his WBA belt, is now dealing with an investigation that could potentially change the result of his fight against Roach. That alone has made his next move unclear. If the New York State Athletic Commission decides to overturn the decision, Davis might be forced into a rematch or even stripped of his title, which could affect his plans for a massive showdown with Stevenson. And with whispers of corruption, a possible bribe, and referee Steve Willis's suspicious non-call in the 9th round, the perception around Davis has taken a hit. Many now wonder if he's truly unbeatable or if he's just being protected.
But he still had rounds to go. He was in the 8th round. He was good. We just couldn't figure out why he wouldn't pick it up. Right. And so I think it was maybe a lack of focus just for a little bit, and we'll fix that.
On the other hand, Stevenson may have secured a victory in his last fight, but it wasn't the dominant performance fans were expecting. He faced late replacement Josh Padley after Floyd Schofield pulled out due to illness, and while Stevenson managed a 9th round stoppage, people weren't impressed. The general feeling was that he should have finished Padley much earlier. Considering Stevenson's reputation as one of the most skilled defensive boxers in the sport, his inability to put away a lesser opponent quickly raised concerns. Some critics even questioned whether he had the power to keep someone like Davis off him.
You can't do that in boxing. Anything can happen. You can have a great night, believe that. You got to believe in your soul, and I think the kid was in there with his soul tonight. It was a good fight, don't get me wrong. And, to me, it could have went either way.
Now, with both men coming off less than stellar performances, boxing fans are more divided than ever on who would win if they fought. Two-weight world champion Teofimo Lopez, who has had plenty to say about both fighters in the past, recently weighed in on the debate. Speaking to Fight Hub TV, Lopez made it clear that despite Davis's struggles against Roach, he still sees him beating Stevenson. I still think Gervonta will win against Shakur. Technically, I just think like that, Lopez said confidently. This opinion isn't too surprising, considering Lopez's history with Stevenson.
Do you still think that fight's possible? I know he might have a break after that fight with Lamont Roach, but do you feel like you guys could fight 2025 or 2026?
I ain't gonna lie, I ain't into chasing people around. I mean, if he's willing to fight, I'm ready to fight, and I think it should happen.
The two have exchanged words before, and Lopez has never been shy about questioning Stevenson's ability to handle elite pressure fighters. Still, his prediction carries weight. As a former unified lightweight champion and the current WBO super lightweight champion, Lopez knows what it takes to win at the highest level. His belief that Davis would get the job done against Stevenson speaks volumes. But Lopez isn't the only one making predictions. Veteran trainer Robert Garcia also weighed in on the possible matchup, offering a different perspective. Garcia acknowledged Davis's power, but pointed out that Stevenson's defense and ring IQ make him a nightmare matchup for almost anyone. He believes that if Stevenson fights smart and avoids getting caught by Davis's knockout punches, he could outbox him over 12 rounds.
I'm not even going to shit on him, but look, I want some money tonight. That's all I'm happy for. I want money tonight.
Shakur, tell us something, bro. Like, what did you think about the decision?
I ain't going to shit on him.
Okay.
We still got to see each other. He say he want to fight me, so we going to fight.
But what do you think about the decision?
I thought Lamont won.
You thought Lamont won?
The real question, though, is whether Stevenson can maintain that strategy for an entire fight without making a single mistake. That's exactly what makes this matchup so intriguing. Stevenson is known for his incredible defense, but Davis has fight-changing power. If Davis lands clean, can Stevenson survive? If Stevenson avoids the power shots, can Davis adapt and outbox him? These are the questions fans are eager to see answered in the ring. But with the uncertainty surrounding Davis's situation, the fight's future remains unclear. For now, both fighters remain on separate paths. Davis is dealing with the backlash from his controversial draw, while Stevenson is still searching for an opponent who will truly test him. What do you think will happen? Share your thoughts below and subscribe for more updates.